You're tuned in to a one-take podcast
production. Welcome. Different show here. Your man B-Dab, a.k.a. Mr. Dab 1024 on the Twitter. The hardest working man at One Take. So today, I got a very special show. This show is different for various reasons. Because one, I'm usually a football guy. And I stick it usually to football, some entertainment. But with free agency upon us in the NBA, and LeBron James took upon himself to opt out of his contract, it got me thinking. Scratched the old noggin and was like, what if? What if LeBron does this? Because we all know that it's a copycat league. And we've seen formulas being copied from the Big Three being formed back in Boston to being redone in Miami. Then we've seen Cleveland tried it this year. Who knows if Cleveland don't trade for Kevin Love, maybe Wiggins is there to help out as Kyrie go down with those 26 points. And maybe LeBron does win a title again this year. But I'm thinking like, what if? Once again, what if? As we seen other forms copycat it before we even seen it happen and go on. It was like, what if LeBron did go back to Cleveland last year? And we seen it. We seen what happened when LeBron went back to Cleveland. Teams and other players around the league and reporters, mainly the media, which brainwashed us, had us instantly believing players are now want to go back home because it was a thing to do because LeBron did it and it was so new. So what bothers me and got me going on this topic is like, what if someone don't get up there and say the typical free agency speech? Well, it was never about the money. I wanted to go to a team that actually had the best chance for me and my family and for me as an individual to win. The team has a loyal fan base, a great staff, up and coming roster, great coaching staff. Ownership is wonderful, and it's just a chance for us to grow together. And I see big things for me and this organization. Cut the shit. Not true. That's not why you're there. Not at all. You're there because that team offered you more money. And that's what players do year in and year out. Like, how many times have you seen players sign lucrative deals with franchises that you're like, I'm no fool. I know why you did that. And it got me thinking, so LeBron opts out. Let's say LeBron becomes the first superstar in history at the peak of his game, signs for those exact reasons for the minimum. I know you sitting back, some of you going to be like, oh no, he got to get his money. Let's remember, LeBron is one of the most passive guys you've ever seen in the NBA. He's a very mild-mannered guy, very humble. He knows how much money he can make off the court. That I can see LeBron taking that back seat to allow others to eat right now. Because LeBron knows, he's well aware that he is the best since Michael Jordan when it comes to on-court and off-the-court value. There's no scrutiny behind this man's name. He stays out of trouble. He has a clean record. So what if he takes the back seat to someone? Let's say, for instance, he goes and team up with his partner, his boy, Carmelo Anthony in New York. What if he takes that minimal cut to go help Melo and help that organization? Because that was rumored. That's where he wanted to go originally. You remember before this Heat debacle stuff went down, it was all said but done that he would go to the Knicks. So let's say he goes there. Does that make them a contender right away? Yeah. We seen Cleveland had the number 1 draft pick last year. You add LeBron, Cleveland is the last team playing. Yeah, they become a number 1 contender instantly. LeBron and Melo, who has great talent around him his whole career except for the last 2 years, could not get it done. But with LeBron on his team, he gets it done. So let's say he does that. That starts a trend. Now, what do you have to say? But let's go further. Let's say, LeBron, he doesn't go there. Let's say he goes with his well-publicized best friend. Let's say he signs a deal with the Clippers. He takes a drastic pay cut, signs to go play out in L.A. with Chris Paul, Blake Griffin, and Doc Rivers, who he has a great deal of respect for. That don't sound too bad there. That roster, legit contenders for the West. As my brother, as we was talking earlier, he said that would change the landscape of the West. That team would be so defensively, it would be nasty. And that's true. A lot of people say, well, Brandon, man, what are you talking about? They can't pay him. That's the whole point of the what if. The what if is, what if he takes the pay cut? Well, why would he take a pay cut? He about to... We say he about the money because we've never seen a $100 million deal. LeBron James, and I don't know this personally, but LeBron James is coming off to be one of the most passive and caring people ever in the league. I can see out of all the superstars in all four major sports, LeBron James is one of the few that I see, and it's quite a very small few that I see willing to make that sacrifice to actually do what everybody get up on that podium and say and play for the better team. And I see LeBron James being that one to be the trendsetter for that. Because if you really, really, really want to play for the better team, why did you sign with the team with the most money? I'll go forward to football this year. And Ndamukong Suh left the Detroit Lions. And yeah, it was for $10 million more. And he also said, well, I want to come to an organization with a winning history, and it gives me the best chance at winning the Super Bowl. Winning history? Sue, where the fuck have you been the past 42 years? They haven't won nothing since, what was it? I want to say the 72 year when they went undefeated. I'm a little too young to remember that. But where the fuck have you been? That team has been a third place AFC East team for the past decade. They did not make the playoffs last year, but you went to the team with the most winning chance. Now, unless Sue was Nostradamus and seen that tissue paper soft schedule they had, maybe he was right. But before that schedule was printed, that was not the winning choice. Now, of course, people say I'm biased because I'm a Lions fan. The Lions would have been a good choice if you're talking money and your best chance, because the Lions are 1 year removed from the playoffs again. They come back off a playoff thing. But if you want to go to the team with the best chance, why didn't you sign with New England? Why didn't you sign in the division with Green Bay? Why didn't you take a chance on going to Dallas? I don't get it. That's because you did not go to the team with the best chance at winning. You went to the team with the best amount of money available. We see this happen all the time in sports. We see players end up in places that makes no sense for them. But I think LeBron James can be that player that breaks that mold. That's all you need is one. Just like last year, the moment LeBron decided to go back to Cleveland, it was rumored already, KD's returning to Washington. I've even said that. That's because I've been brainwashed to think that quick. But LeBron taking that chance of going back to Cleveland, that brainwashed me that quick. The same way we've all been brainwashed. For those of you who've been watching long enough, you know before the Joe Flacco, Matt Ryan era, quarterback set. Now people say, well, no, if you draft him in the first round, you got to play him. That rule didn't apply to 8 years ago. Now that rule is an enforced rule by all organizations where your quarterback starts. No matter if you pick the first pick or last pick of the first round, you put him in there to the wolves, and that's why we have mediocre quarterbacks. But what if a team no longer makes their player play right away? They work on them, they groom them. We have a different outlet. The sports media world trains our brain to think like this. So a lot of people don't even understand when I say, what if LeBron James takes this pay cut? Just imagine a level of talent he can get around him to actually probably form a dynasty somewhere if he takes a pay cut. Well, how can you have the fifth best player making more money than the first best player? The value doesn't matter. LeBron has enough money in incentives where he can go out and play for $1 a game if he needs to. LeBron can actually take a $10 million deal right now and play a whole season and donate his whole salary to charity, and it won't put a dent in his stature at all. I mean, he is that important off the field that he can, off the court, he can generate enough money to last some players' NBA contract. And it seems to be that he's pretty smart with his money. I hear his friend Randy handles him quite well. And that's a great thing. So I say this one last time. What if he goes to a team to help them win? What does that do to the NBA now? How many other players follow suit? You know, if he goes to the Clippers and take a pay cut, that makes them a legitimate contender. And it also leaves them room to still sign a good up-and-coming young player. That gives you more leverage at your opponent by taking that ultimate sacrifice. You know, everybody talking about keeping it real. That is one of the most keeping it real moments, when you actually leave the team and go to a team that really presents you an opportunity to win, and not just a financial opportunity. So let that sit and let that marinate on your head. What if LeBron opts out and takes a pay cut? I want to know your thoughts. What do y'all think of that theory? It's not facts behind it, it's just a theory. And as always, football season is approaching. We're opening up our lines to a couple different fantasy groups, fantasy leagues. I'm looking for fantasy correspondents to help me as I work on this football essential guides, the rules and essential guide to making a championship season. Long title, but it's a long fantasy season. We'll be hitting on all areas in that fantasy recap. It's a 7-part series. I will break down all the way from going into making your name, into knowing your league point system, all the way in depth to kickers. Yes, I will even cover the kickers. How many kickers you should have. Fantasy is my life. I love fantasy. It's not fantasy to me anymore. It's reality football. So for those who are interested in getting involved in that, y'all know the regular routine. Hit us up on Twitter at One Take Podcast Nation, or hit me directly at Mr. Dad 1024. And as always, we thank you for pressing play. And this has been a One Take Podcast production. This is the time of year we wait for all the time, all year long. This is what we wait for.
Are you ready?
Yo, Jacksonville Jaguars has to be a team full of sleepers. You talking fantasy football and you not looking at the Jacksonville Jaguars for deep sleepers. I don't know what to tell you. It is reality football. It's Andrew Luck all day. It's no better quarterback in fantasy football than Andrew Luck. You can keep your A-Rod, you can keep your Paytons. Give me Luck. I want the touchdowns, the rushing touchdowns. Give me Luck. If you're watching football and not playing fantasy football, then you're not watching football, because it's no longer fantasy, it's a reality.
You're tuned in to a One Take
Podcast production.